Welcome everyone to Mind Model Mastery Secrets. I'm Ashley and I'm here with Blair. And today we're going to get talking about, do you feel stuck? Do you feel like you're repeating the same story in your head over and over again and you just don't know how to get out? Feeling super overwhelmed that you are living in this constant stress. I know some people have talked to me about how they just feel like screaming because they're in this cycle and they don't know how to get out. They just feel completely trapped. And so if you're able to identify with any of those things, you might be stuck in a why hole. And so Blair talked about that on Tuesday night on his Blair Dunkley experience and the previous Tuesday as well. So definitely go check those both out. And then he will also be doing another why hole conversation next Tuesday as well. So today we're going to do a deeper dive. And for me personally, I've had the pleasure of working with Blair for over a decade where he has helped me out of multiple why holes, and I have found myself in one the last probably 10 days where it has been very much a self-sabotage situation. I have been putting a lot of pressure on myself. I have been feeling overwhelmed. The stress levels have been high, and it definitely is a situation that is intense, but that also doesn't make it effective to be feeling the way I have been. So I'm going to be a guinea pig once again here for Blair. So you can take it away and ask whatever you need to ask. And
Thanks, Ashley. Yeah, no, seriously, like that's great. So, yeah, we're going to be going through some of the why hole stuff here, but next week it's going to be more into not just identifying that, but next week it's going to be going to, we're calling it inoculating against the
Mhm.
dark arts,
Yeah,
as it were. So we're going to zap them and how to get rid of it. But right now it's going to be how to get you aware of it.
yes,
So you know you're in it, correct?
yes, yeah.
Yeah, and you're flailing around. And how does that feel?
It feels awful. It feels like a shutdown. I know like when I talk to other people in similar states, they often feel like no one understands them. And I don't
Yep.
really identify with that as like a major emotion, but I know that is somewhat present there as well.
Absolutely. One of the things that people in deep, really big why holes wind up going through is they're sharing their situation.
Mhm.
And when I've tried to relate to them, or even going, I understand,
Yeah.
they go, you can't understand. You're not in this with me.
Yeah.
You know, you can't. And they're wanting to be understood, but they can't. So they're pushing it back, pushing it back. And that whole frustration
Mhm.
with their why hole and all the pressure, like you're putting pressure on yourself,
Yeah.
they tend to have this pressure on themselves from the situation.
Yeah.
And, it just sort of takes over their whole life.
Mhm.
It's like um, nothing ever gets better.
Mhm.
And it's living in a dark spot where you look at this stuff and you go, I can't go forward. It's blocking all my progress. It's in my way. And your finger is constantly being pointed out there at everybody else
Mhm.
and never really sort of back to yourself and
Yeah.
say, oh, what can I do? No, everybody else has to change or people have to get out of my way because I can't live in this. It's just too big.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
For me, I don't feel that way. Where I'm
How do
not
you feel?
thinking, sorry.
Yeah, how do you feel?
So I'm not thinking everyone else is to blame and that everyone else has to change. I know that we've talked before about not going too far into the weeds with the actual story. I can share whatever you think is effective so that the viewers understand what.
Share a little bit for our listeners.
Okay, so essentially, we have been battling my partner and I in court for about 5 years now, for custody. And so right now we do have shared parenting. However, we found out a year ago that our children were being physically and emotionally abused significantly. And so we've been now working to get primary custody, and it's what the kids have asked for is they've done here the child reports, and it's what they want as well. And so we go to a 4-day trial in November. So I'm doing all the prep work for that as I am the person that is self-representing. I have to do all of the case law, all of the cross-examination, the testimonies, examining the witnesses for myself and cross-examining the other side, the closing arguments, like everything. I am not a lawyer by any means. No legal training whatsoever. And we also have been in and out of court for a lot of little things lately. Like we have been in court every week for things like being able to get passports, going on vacation, getting my daughter into the school that she wanted to go to, getting her to pay for extracurriculars. Like there's a lot of different things. So it's more so the pressure is my daughter is suffering significantly. That we have three kids. And I have friends that will see her while she's with her biological mother, and they will message me and call me and be like, "Oh my gosh, my heart's breaking. She's dying. She's screaming for help." And so that really makes me emotional, and that puts me into that like, ugh, state. And I want my kids. I want my kids in a safe environment. Of course, I want them full time, but 50-50 I can accept if they are in a healthy, loving environment. When they're not, I really struggle. And so I see how they're affected on a daily basis. I
Okay.
work at their school, and so I see the difference in their character and the difference in their happiness. And
Right.
so I put a lot of pressure on myself to be successful in this. And even with physical abuse, taking three children away from their biological mother is not a given. So,
Yes, that's
yeah.
true. It's not. So, what would you like to have happen? How would you like to be at the end of this conversation?
So for me right now, I'm putting so much pressure onto myself with it. And so I feel like the boys struggle, but the daughter is like, is sucking the life out of her. You can see it.
Okay.
And so I feel like me and her are emotionally building off of each other and almost sabotaging ourselves, but like bouncing back and forth where we're like sabotaging, self-sabotaging, but then also like empath to each other and like collectively making everything worse.
Okay.
So, sorry.
Can I ask you a question on this one?
Mhm.
Okay. So again, I'd like to refocus. So if you could wave a magic wand,
Yeah.
how would you like this to be now? Not not 5 years, 2 minutes, 10 minutes down the road or next week, but right now, where would you say, if I could be this way
Hmm.
and get my headspace back to this,
Hmm.
what is that something that you can envision?
Yeah. So, my biggest thing is the pressure is affecting every area of my life.
Yep.
My memory, my happiness, my enjoyment, and it's like this like dark cloud over everything.
Okay.
And
So
so that's what I would like to remove because I know
great.
I have to do the work. I know I have to come to that trial, that 4-day trial, and put my best foot forward. But because of my self-sabotage right now, I'm not putting that best foot forward.
Okay. Let's take a look at that in terms of the self-sabotage.
Hmm.
And one of the things that's happening, let me check this out here,
Yeah.
is are you in the self-sabotage? Are you, how are you knocking yourself down? What are you doing to self-sabotage?
Like, are you talking self-talk or behaviors?
Both, either.
So behaviors, I'm allowing myself to shut down.
Okay.
Yeah.
And self-talk wise?
Well, I want to say I'm obsessing, but I don't even know if it is that because I do have to put a lot of work into this. And
Correct.
so it's probably to the
Can
degree.
I interrupt that?
Yeah.
So when you're thinking about that potentially being obsessing,
Hmm.
and then you course correct, you didn't go into something other than obsessing quickly. And I mean virtually immediate. So you don't have a counter to the obsessing in your language. If it wasn't obsessing, if you're not obsessing, what are you doing?
Being diligent.
Okay, fair ball. You're being diligent. Can you also say that you're diligently preparing?
Yes. So this
Okay,
is
2 seconds. Let me back you up.
for
I
sure.
want you to go back into, by the way, for everybody who's listening, you're wondering how come Blair is being a jerk here. While my ex-wife used to call me the nicest asshole you ever want to meet. I want to interrupt that because she was going to drift into telling me the past story. And
Mm-hmm.
so I want to interrupt that. So diligent is there and you're practicing or preparing diligently, correct?
Hmm.
Now, when you get into that diligent preparation, is that effective?
Yes.
Okay, that's yes with a question mark. What
Hmm.
isn't effective?
Um, so there's again, this is going into past. What
Okay,
I mean,
then let's not go there.
okay.
Because what I need you to do is get yourself into looking at yourself diligently preparing. Is that effective?
Yes.
Okay, 2 seconds. That yes was no question mark. That was sort of an exclamation mark. And the previous yes was with a question mark.
Yeah. So
Okay,
I think that what I'm doing is effective, but I can't do it all the time.
doesn't matter. You don't need to do it all the time.
But
You
I
just,
am.
what are you doing all the time?
I'm thinking about it all the time. I'm dreaming about it.
I understand that, but you're not actually, again, your language is you're creating justification for where you are by claiming an excessive amount. And I want to just break this down. You don't think about it 100% of the time. It might be a high percentage. It
Yeah.
might be even 50%, which seems, if you obsess over one thing, it
Yeah.
seems like you're obsessing all the time. Even if it's only, if you take it down and track it, it would only be 30, 40% of the time. But that's way more than normal.
Hmm.
Okay, normally we get these flashes of things, we think about it, then our brain pops onto the next, we come back to it some other time, but there's gaps of uh usually hours.
Hmm.
But when we're obsessing, there's only gaps of minutes, to that thinking,
Yeah.
and not like a half a day.
Hmm.
Okay, so you don't get a break, it feels like.
Yes.
Okay, that's another yes. So now one of the things that I would ask you to do is, even though we're talking about this right now, are you is that actively being worked through in your brain, or are you looking for alternatives right now? What are you doing?
I don't know what you're asking. Am I looking for?
So are you in there obsessing like you said you were, or are you actually evaluating what you're doing?
I think I'm evaluating.
Exactly. So you're not obsessing. So
Hmm.
right there, there's evidence of you not obsessing.
Yeah.
And there is evidence of you of actually evaluating.
Hmm.
Do you feel more neutral or judgmental?
Neutral.
Exactly. This again is me trying to get your brain, and anybody who's out there has to try and do this for themselves because you got to disprove as or before you prove.
Yeah.
As you're proving it, you got to disprove it. But this, okay, you just looked up. Okay, what did you look at? What did you just notice?
So while you were talking, you helped me realize that I am evaluating, I'm not judgmental. And so then I was asking myself, so where is that why coming from? Where is that hole going on?
Right.
And um well, it just disappeared. And so I came to the realization of where it was coming from, and I'm trying to articulate that. Sorry. And so it is how much work I'm going to have to put into it. And there's certainty attached to that, where if I'm going to do the work, I want to know it's going to be a win. And there's
Okay, stop
also
right
a,
there, hold it, because
okay,
that's setting up a structure that's ineffective.
for sure.
Okay, so right there, you're starting the self-sabotage cycle with your why because your why leads you to, um, I can't get out of my why until I'm certain that this won't happen.
Hmm.
Well, that means you're never going to get out of your why
Yeah.
because the certainty is sort of a locked in state where you go, I've got to be certain before I can change. And so now you have an excuse to stay in your why because certainty is almost impossible to attain. And
Yeah.
in this scenario, I'd say completely impossible.
Hmm. Yeah.
So now you're in a loop. This you're on your hamster wheel,
Yeah.
going nowhere fast.
Yeah. And there's a lot of fear attached to that. Like I
By
talked,
the way, the acronym for fear in mind model parlance
yeah.
would be future events appearing real.
Mhm.
So that fear is you projecting past stuff into the future, correct?
Yeah.
And what do you get?
Nothing good.
More of the same of
Yeah.
the crap that you were in before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, you're reinforcing exactly what got you stuck, what's holding you stuck. Now you have to figure out how can I break that? Because one of the things that we want to do is we want to get a level of awareness so you can notice stuff.
Hmm.
Okay? What are you aware of that you can now notice?
Um, well, I'm aware that I am projecting my fear. I'm aware that I'm self-sabotaging.
Great.
Um,
Now, okay, let's not do a whole dump here. Let's
okay.
break this down into one piece at a time.
Mhm.
So, if you're aware that of your fear and you're aware that you're self-sabotaging, what specifically might you do differently right now?
Well, get present.
Great. So, what tells you that you actually are present?
One thing would be that I'm evaluating.
And what do you want to evaluate? Because you're right, but theoretically, that's wonderful in theory. But if you don't actually do it, you're screwed. You're back on, oh, I'm evaluating. I'm good. No, you're not all good because now you just jumped from one hamster wheel to another one, claiming, oh, evaluation will save my ass.
And well, and that's what's been happening is like I've been asking myself like what's working? Like what am I doing right now to get where I want to go and things like
Okay,
that.
stop.
Yeah.
Right there, you jam two constructs together.
Yeah.
So, first things first, what's working? What
Yeah.
have you done that actually works? Don't go to the next point two of this.
Hmm.
Don't start evaluating it
Yeah.
until you identify something that's effective or works.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think works?
So what works is I have successfully um represented in the past. We have gone to court here like once a week, really, if it has felt like for the last month and a half. It hasn't been quite, but it's been very close. And we've been successful every time. We've got what we've come for.
Okay, stop right there. Hold it.
Yeah.
Because you said every time with a question mark at the end of it.
Yeah.
That is you only partially evaluating and setting yourself up for failure. Do you recognize that?
Yeah. So we've got everything that we wanted for sure.
No, stop. I'm
Okay.
going to back you up again
Okay.
because you're not technically evaluating, although you claim that you are.
Okay.
Okay, what you're doing is you're going in there and giving yourself a positive judgment.
Okay.
Okay, as opposed to what got you to know that you got an effective result. What was it?
We got what we asked for.
Partially.
Right.
But that's the result that you got. But what got you that result? Because just having a result, a win, could that just be luck?
Potentially, yeah.
Is it?
No.
Ah, no question mark there. No,
Yeah.
going down at the end, not going up, but not emphatic, because this, I'm forcing your brain now to stop judging and start evaluating. So, what is it that you actually did that got you those effective results?
So I'm effective at thinking on my feet.
2 seconds here.
Yeah.
Listen to yourself.
Yeah.
You were effective for thinking on your feet.
Yeah.
How did that help you in a court? Because just thinking on your feet does not necessarily get you a win.
It helped me because I don't know what to expect. Like we've been in court lots, but each judge is different, each argument is different. It's I have no schooling on this, I have no background, and the language is very specific. And so being quick to evaluate and quick on my feet has made it so that I can pivot really quickly and answer questions really quickly that had most people wouldn't be able to do because they're not educated in law.
Correct. So, what is it that you did to get yourself to be able to do that?
I don't know. I've always been fairly quick on that.
No, no, no. I disagree. There were times when I trained you up in coaching that
Yeah,
you stumbled and fell and didn't have that
yeah.
because you didn't do this thing. Now, what are you doing for the upcoming court case?
Preparing.
Exactly. Did you use the same model of, not the same topic, but did you actually prepare for the previous court cases?
A little bit, yes. Yeah.
Had you, is going to court from previous cases actually preparing you for the next case?
Some of them. So we've had
No,
a
no, no. Hold 2 seconds. Back up.
yeah,
Just because the law may be different or the case may be structured differently,
yeah,
is knowing how to be in a courtroom in front of a judge an effective thing to have, or is it ineffective? Does that work for you, or
yeah.
does that not work for you?
It works for me.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is that that you know how to do that in the courtroom? Like you know how to talk in front of a judge and address them correctly and factually.
Yeah, it's very important.
Scale of 1 to 10.
Probably an 8,
How effective are you at doing that?
probably a 9.5.
So the importance of doing that, you're saying is an 8, and yet your effectiveness of doing that is a 9.5.
Mhm.
What makes up the gap, the other 20 out of, or 10, 2, when you're 8 out of 10, and what's not, what's missing?
Well, there's just the kind of like a meat chart of this is just how court is. So there, like the justice system is set in a way that they follow very similar rulings. They don't stray off the book very much.
Correct.
So there that even if I address the judge improperly, rudely, all that kind of stuff, but I had the case that would be a typical ruling one way, in my favor, even with me being a shithead,
Sure.
I would still win.
Great.
So
However, your your evaluation of having a case that is winnable, how important is that?
not very important.
How come?
My evaluation of having a case winnable because
No, that is winnable.
that is winnable. It's very hard to predict what a judge is going to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing to help facilitate your process?
So case law is the biggest thing because judges don't want to go out of the box. So researching similar situations to what I have and what has been ruled and drawing similarities or drawing things that make it different if I want a different ruling is the biggest thing. And kind of building off of a model, essentially.
Okay, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Your tone and your tempo has shifted in the last few moments.
Yeah.
How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling overwhelmed right now?
No.
Right.
So
Go ahead.
whenever I talk about the logistics of it, I feel confident. I feel like
Exactly. So, what I'm asking you to do is take a look at what you are doing
mhm,
and add that to who and what you are doing, when you're going to trial.
mhm.
Like, how important is your confidence? How, what degree does that play in your headspace to keep you out of your why?
So I have very high confidence in myself, especially being self-represented.
Correct.
Yeah. And so I feel like my work with you, my work in business, in sales, has led me to be capable of doing what I'm doing. Very.
Exactly. So now what trying to get you to do is to broaden the application so that because in this very narrow slice of
Mhm,
court, you have this narrow slice of confidence,
mhm.
correct?
Yeah, so it's whenever I think, so this is where I had noticed the two parts of where my why hole is coming from. So the second part is what I didn't mention yet, and that's the bigger one. And so that is why I have to fight for my children who want to live with me, one, and are being physically abused.
Right.
And so, and then the panic of if I don't win, my kids have to stay in this awful toxic situation.
Mhm.
So that's where, as soon as I think about that, I can feel it tight in my chest of the sadness I feel for them. And
Understandable.
yeah, so that's my big why hole.
Technically, that's only part of a why hole, and the other part of it is a what hole. This is what's happening.
Okay.
And when we resist what is,
Yep.
we flip into why is it happening?
Yep.
Okay. I personally have a ton of experience with this one. Hello, you're talking to a world-class expert here. How come? Because my why hole, when my dad went into a coma, my father was in a coma for 14 years.
Yep.
Okay. And he was an amazing man. He was a gentle man.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, Unbelievable. He was in a coma for 14 years, couldn't talk to anybody
Hmm.
for 14 years. And when he passed, the entire chapel that was there for at the funeral home was filled to
Hmm.
capacity. The second chapel was filled. The basement where they piped things in, piped it in, did the video broadcast of what was going on was there in the basement where they were going to serve the reception afterwards.
Yep.
There were hundreds and hundreds of people showing up,
Hmm.
and he hadn't spoken to any one of them in 14 years.
Yeah.
Now, that's the impact that he had.
Hmm.
That's just sort of evidence of him being a respected man, average in a lot of ways, not superstar active, just pleasantly active in the community, touched people's lives meaningfully, but not in like oh my God way.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, but when my dad went into a coma, I fell apart.
Hmm.
because I went in my why hole. My why hole was, why is this happening to him?
Yeah.
Why is this happening to us?
Yeah.
All we're trying to do is help people. And that's all my dad did was worked in gas accounting, keeping people's places warm, crunching numbers and doing this and helping people as best he could,
Yeah.
different in different areas of life, like in the community. But one of the things that I realized I needed to do was accept what is,
Hmm.
because I can't change it.
Yeah.
And it took me the better part of a year
Hmm.
to wrap my head around the fact that what is not fair.
Hmm.
It just is.
Yeah.
And the more that I could just accept what is and work towards in managing myself so that my family, my friends could have a quality life in spite of, not because of, but in spite of
Hmm.
the situation that my father was in. That was that was huge. That
Hmm.
was the pivot for me to
Yeah.
be able to start going, what is, and then shift from what is into acceptance
Yeah.
instead of why.
Yeah.
Like, why is this happening? Why did this happen to my father? Why him?
Yeah.
Like, of all people, why him?
Yeah.
Why your kids?
Yeah. Well, I think that's where when I look at other people I know that are stuck in their why hole, it's why do I have these parents? Why did I get laid off? Why do I have this illness? And it's very much that same place, right?
Exactly. And the more, like for me, now I'm divorced. My ex chose to ask for a divorce. And I go 6 years later, what have I been through in this last 6 years? Well, I got cancer.
Hmm.
Like I went through COVID, so I couldn't earn money
Yeah.
during that time frame. I was able to survive it, and then I was able to go out there and make some money. But then why me and cancer?
Yeah.
Why me and having to get hip replacements? Well, that why is actually what caused it. Radiation.
Yeah.
That's what happened. The radiation cured my cancer, and it is screwing up my hips
Yeah.
as a result.
Hmm.
So, oh, okay, that's the next thing. So, what might I do about this now?
Yeah.
Not why did it happen?
Hmm.
What might I do to move forward?
Yeah. And so, like, I think, like you mentioned, acceptance is a huge part of it. And
Huge.
acceptance doesn't make it right.
Or wrong.
Yeah.
Or wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, is that the key part of accepting is what might I do about this now? Is that the key thing? Or is there something first before what might I do about this now?
Well, yes, there is something to do first. What is it
Hmm.
that I'm holding on to?
So, my guess would be I'm holding on to a beautiful childhood for my kids and not a toxic one.
Well, yes and
And
no. So,
and feeling like I can't, that's the big one. Feeling like I can't give them the best life that they deserve because of this situation and this person that's in their
but
life.
that's not like I couldn't give my mother, my family, my sister, any of those things when my dad went into a coma
Yeah.
because life happens.
Hmm.
And so what we do is we have to take this is what is happening.
Yeah.
How can I make this as the best out of a bad situation is what people say.
Mhm.
But what can I do to just focus on making this the best rather than saying a bad situation? For me, my cancer could have been horrible. I've seen people collapse
Hmm.
with cancer, not even as bad as mine.
Yeah.
And I go, so accept what is. What is the protocol that I need to go through? Oh, okay. I go through that.
Yeah.
Is it horrible? It's not comfortable.
Yeah.
Is it, Does it keep me alive? Yes,
Mhm.
it did. It does.
So for me, I do feel like I'm doing my best to give them the best given the situation. Like,
Okay, now are you then comparing yourself against what you would have liked it to be?
yes.
That's what I stopped because that's me torturing myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
And that's what my daughter does too.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And so the only issue that you have, pardon me, the only thing that you can do is focus on the present
Hmm.
and on what is and accept what is
Hmm.
and make that the place to move from, like, this is what it is, towards something better. I want to pivot towards something better.
Yeah.
It's like my divorce. My dad went in, like, when the doctors told us, like 2 weeks after my dad went in, went into his coma. They called us in as a family and said, your father has a 99% chance of never coming out of this coma.
Hmm.
That night I went home and I just cried,
Yeah.
convulsively cried in the shower.
Hmm.
And the water was pouring cold on me. I shut down the water, crawled out, and pulled a towel over myself,
Yeah.
and still crying. 2 weeks later, I went to see my mindset trainer.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom was my life skills coach. I would have gone to her, but she's having her own issues.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't go there, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so I went to this other person who then told me, after doing 90 more minutes of work on me and putting me through the same stuff that I would was putting people to help them adjust their mindset and belief and figuring shit out. She said, Blair, you just don't believe enough. That's where I blew up. And I knew right at that second that mindset was a lie, is what I said. But
Yeah.
I've now have evidence that it works 1% of the time
Mhm.
in externally verifiable facts.
Yeah.
Like, anybody wants the report, it's the Association of Psychological Science, February 3rd, 2020. Go look that up and you'll see it.
Hmm.
That scientific evidence.
Yeah.
Mindset works at best 1% of the time. At worst, negative 12%.
Hmm.
Okay,
Oh,
but what I wanted to focus on right here is to get out of this why hole, you have to identify your why hole. You just sort of did that
hmm.
because the why hole is you saying you want a better life. And why is it not possible?
Yeah.
Well, because it is life for your children. It is their life, and they have to go through it.
Hmm.
That's non-optional. You know, you're doing everything you can.
Hmm.
You continue to do everything you can. I'm not saying throw in the towel. What I am saying is figure out what is, accept what is, and build from there to improve.
Yeah. So do you have like a ABC step to acceptance? Because I think that's what most people probably struggle with is accepting, because we've talked about that on other podcasts where your life isn't what you want it to be, that whether you're living in the past, which is often depression, or living in the future, which is often anxiety, where do we find that acceptance? What would be your ABC step to that?
Well, if I could back up, it's sort of like, can we sort of start with like what I did for you?
Yeah.
Can we sort of summarize this?
Yeah.
So, first things first, your why hole is 100% past based, correct? It's what has already happened and occurred. And what you want is your kids are stuck in this thing and it's been going on for a long time, correct?
Yeah, and so it kind of feels like a past future of I don't want the past to be the future.
Thank you, but that's still 100% past. You're just projecting that into the future.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And that projection or that 100% past based is the thing that loads the emotion, does it not?
Yes.
Okay. That loading, so the first step is it's acknowledge that whichever way it is, past, future, a past future is still a past because you're taking the past and projecting it into the future, but
Hmm.
you're doing that now in your head, but it's still all past in reality. It's
Yeah.
still really past. Second is it loads emotion, and these emotions are not good emotions.
Yeah.
The next thing that those emotions do is that does what exactly what you're talking about at the top of the show. It creates a stuck state.
Hmm.
Then it fuels reasons and excuses.
Hmm.
And you tend to get, that's how come I was interrupting you, because it was going to be giving me more of the story, more of the reasons and excuses. And that stops you from getting resourceful.
Yeah, it's like procrastination essentially.
A weird type of procrastination, but yes. But it also creates an environment where you relive and refeel all of that shitty stuff,
Well, and it's almost too that I'm shutting down to not keep reliving the shitty stuff.
as opposed to switching to remembering. Because if you just remembered it without reliving it, just said, well, that's what happened.
Yeah.
And you notice when you get enough distance on things, you can go, well, that was a crappy period in my life.
Hmm.
But you're not overwhelmed by it. It's just something that happened.
Yeah.
Okay. And you learned from it.
Hmm.
So that's one of those things. And that all of the emotional intensity when you're in the why hole tends to amplify, like the last 10 days.
Yeah.
Everything tends to amplify, correct?
Hmm.
And then the language becomes accusatory. Like, why me? Why them? Why this? Why does this have to happen to them?
Yeah.
Even that. Your mind freezes.
Hmm.
It's sort of like a startle response. It's like, fight or flight or freeze.
Yeah.
Well, that startle response holds you stuck again. And it tends to be the negative emotions appear.
Hmm.
And that's what you're driving is all of these negative emotions. So, it just holds things so that you refuse, like you want to be understood, but and in extreme cases, you really want to be understood. And when people try to understand you, you bat it back. Now, you're not an extreme case. You want to understand and be understood. Okay. But in extreme cases, it will be you want to really be understood. But when people say, I want to understand you, that person usually says, you can't understand me. I've had that recently.
Well, and like there is like the little bit where I'm like, I need to talk to someone about this, but like who can relate? Like when I'm verbally processing, like who can actually give me effective evaluation questions because they don't understand how the court system works either. So I do have a little bit of that, but not
Right.
like in a hostile way.
No, you're right. You're not all the way into the why hole, like almost, but not quite.
Yeah.
Okay. So so the escape plan, as it were, is sort of a three-step plan.
Okay.
And so that's sort of what I've been walking you through a little bit
Hmm.
here to get it on the edge. It
Hmm.
doesn't prevent it, it just helps you get out
Yeah.
right now. Next week, we'll get into some prevention type stuff.
Yeah.
So, but the first step is get aware.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta use, well, for those that have listened to this podcast before, I've talked about an ANPU, awareness, notice, process, understanding. And we talk about that in there, that the first awareness and noticing is going from um, 0 to 1.
Yeah.
The second one is recognizing that you're at a 1 and like your awareness notice is oh, you sort of have, there might be a possibility I could do something about it because it sort of becomes a meta or a possibility of movement. Whereas the first one is, I don't know, oh, hey, I recognize this.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't get to that second awareness notice, which was working at getting you by the questions I was asking you to recognize you're now feeling calmer
Yeah.
than you were.
Yeah.
Okay, so that gets you through that to that meta. And the process here is, oh, you started asking me when I gave you a bit of a process. Ah, right. I've got to change my perspective, which is the second thing here. But how you do it is you build a process. And that process here was you realizing, right, acceptance, figuring out what is, and then accepting that gives me the opportunity to take that second step, which is get a perspective. And what you wound up doing was instead of being all about yourself, you were able to shift it from self like to the situation. In this case, others weren't really in there, but the itself other situation, but you started recognizing what you could influence in the situation. And to some degree, that there was possible influence with others, but there was control over self.
Hmm.
You can start controlling yourself, managing yourself.
Yeah.
And that is done through what is and then acceptance.
Hmm.
And then it gets into the three E's, which I sort of got started there, which is effective versus ineffective,
Hmm.
external versus internal, and then evaluation versus judgment. And that's sort of what that came down to is moving that forward.
Yeah.
And that is when you can start evaluating yourself. And that's what I had you practice a little bit
Hmm.
of recognizing the things that you already have control over,
Yeah.
that you have confidence in,
Hmm.
and taking that and recognizing how can I bridge that into other areas that I'm in my life? How can I do that more effectively?
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
Hmm.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. And so the acceptance will come with the evaluation.
You know what? It starts being sort of um, cyclical
Yeah.
because you start accepting, but then you start recognizing, oh, if I'm accepting this, I could do this.
Yeah.
And when you do that, and if I accept that I can do this, well, is it possible for me to do this?
Yeah.
Then you test it out. It either works or it doesn't work. But when you get it to work, then, oh, what's the next thing that I can start doing? And so what it does is it slowly starts building on it, and you start gaining momentum inside yourself where you feel better about you.
Hmm.
And it starts breaking down that sense. Am I stuck in this or am I just living through this?
Yeah. And that evaluation really separates the difference between accepting it and working through it to throwing in the towel and being
Bingo.
like, this is the way it is, so this is just the fucking way it is.
Yeah, and can't do anything about it, and that's that.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
opposed to this is a hard spot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all go through hard spots.
Hmm.
Like hell, during my 6 years of being single, I actually found somebody, fell in love with them, and was hoping to get married to them.
Hmm.
I broke up with them, and I found out later, 6 weeks later, they're engaged to somebody completely different who actually looks like me, I've been told.
Yeah. The world
Like,
is
and
crazy.
then I got to go, hold it, don't go down into that. Like, I am this close to
Yeah.
getting depressed over it. Not this close, but this close.
Yeah.
And I can still smile about it and move forward because I can look for alternatives.
Hmm.
Now, I can throw in the towel and go, well, that's it. The best part of my life is never going to happen again. Or I can look at it and say, I learned a lot from that.
Hmm.
Now, what might I be able to find differently?
Yeah.
Where can I take this and go?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And
And that's what I,
curiosity, by the way, curiosity is essential at this point.
yeah.
So, when you can accept it and then get curious.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been saying my first trial was kind of my practice. We didn't know about the abuse at that time, so it was kind of like a practice run. And
Yep.
now this is a lot more serious of an issue, and I already have had a practice run. So,
Listen to yourself and feel how you're feeling now about it.
yeah,
Did you hear? Like your tone has completely shifted.
yeah,
It's more uplifting, like confident even.
yeah,
Like, yeah, I've had a practice run.
yeah. And that's where I can go. But the last 10 days I haven't been. So,
Yeah, but hold it, stop.
yeah,
I would submit that you can go. I would say, no, that's not accurate. That's where you just went.
yeah, yeah,
Right now, you went into that spot.
yeah.
So your self-sabotage was kicking in to say, well, you didn't that just because you got there right now, I'm going to get you to behave differently and I'm going to start self-sabotaging you because you're saying you could go there, but you didn't. You
Hmm.
can go there, but you didn't. Well, bullshit. You actually went there. And
Yeah.
that's how we BS ourselves.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is that it'll be good to have our next week's training to kind of do the more preventative, right?
Absolutely. And reinforce this. So remember that there's these three steps.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to get aware.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just make it super simple. You got to get aware. That's the first step.
Yeah.
The second step is you got to get perspective.
Yeah.
And the third step is you got to get effective.
Hmm.
And that's where you just started sliding back because you gave yourself your break, even though I caught you loud and clear right here on this podcast,
Yeah.
you being effective, you put in wiggle words
Mm.
or what I refer to as weasel words.
Yeah.
I can, I could, I might. Yeah,
It
well, you
all,
might,
it's almost diminishing it because
you are, no, no, almost. It
yeah.
is diminishing it.
Yeah.
It's not holding it as, hey, I am capable.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm going to win, but it also doesn't mean I'm going to lose.
Hmm.
But it means I've got a fair shot at changing this right now.
Yeah.
And I'm preparing, and preparing comes with usually when it's this magnitude of issue with some degree of worry. And is worrying about this reasonable?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And you're not holding it as though it's reasonable. You're holding it as though you shouldn't worry about anything. Well, I go, excuse me, you're human.
Yeah.
I worried a lot.
Yeah.
I still sometimes do, but it's how long?
Hmm. Well, and
Not
that's where it wasn't effective the last 10 days because it wasn't just worried about this specific thing. It was stopping other areas of my life.
bingo. And so that means you cannot manage it.
Hmm.
It's managing you.
Yeah.
So that's where getting effective and asking yourself literally the three E's.
Yeah.
Is what I'm doing effective?
Yeah.
And the short answer is no, it wasn't.
Hmm.
Now I'm going to ask you again. Is what you're doing right now on this podcast with me effective?
Yes.
And do you feel that? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it's inside of you, is it not?
Yeah. Yeah, and there is confidence there. Like there is, it's like you said, I allowed the story, the pressure to manage me because I am
Bingo.
a confident person, and so I do have
Yes.
self-confidence. I do have confidence from others, and I have past, where I was successful self-representing. So there is confidence there. It's just I wasn't managing myself anymore.
That's it. And
Mhm.
so when you choose to self-manage
Yeah.
and you go, and by the way, everything that you just pointed out here, I didn't ask you, but it was part two or step two in the three E's.
Yeah.
It was it externally verifiable?
Yes. Yeah.
And absolutely everything was tick, tick, tick. And did you notice, like, and people out there watching this podcast, pay attention to yourself because we do this naturally. And all I've done is codified the fact that, oh, if we go effective, and we recognize what we're doing effectively, we generally find, not generally, very specifically find that evidence for that. And we remind ourselves almost always verbally or, self-talk and remind ourselves specifically of things that were effective that are externally verifiable. And in fact, what I mean by this is if somebody else could see me,
Hmm.
would they concur that without me prompting them, if I said, have I done anything effective? They could go, yes, you did this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
Okay. That's externally verifiable.
Yeah. And the only time that you won't be able to find those externally verifiable things is when you're allowing something else to manage you and you don't want to.
And judge, well, I would argue that it's not necessarily you don't want to,
Hmm.
it's that you don't.
Yeah.
And what happens at that point is judgment kicks in
Yeah.
as opposed to evaluation.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you started evaluating and saying, oh, what is the result of doing all of these externally verifiable things?
Yeah.
Well, self-confidence.
Well, it's the self-doubt of um I have one in the past. I am a confident person, but I'm not a lawyer. So what if I'm not good enough for this big of a
Okay,
job?
stop right there.
Yeah.
That's where you park it.
Hmm.
Because you're now refocusing and reloading the old patterns
Yeah.
and go, hold it. Lawyers don't even know if they're good enough. That's how come what is the purpose for going to court in the first place? Are you the person that's weighing out the pros and cons?
No,
Who is?
the judge.
Right.
Hmm.
So you can never know if it's enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you put yourself in that position,
Hmm.
you can only self-sabotage and create a new cycle of self-sabotage
Yeah.
because you're not paying attention to what's reasonable.
Hmm.
All you can do is do your best.
Hmm.
That's it. That's all anybody can do is
Yeah.
their best.
Yeah.
Okay. They can't make it a win. They can do their best so they tilt the odds in your favor, like in your own favor.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you can do.
Hmm.
And the rest is left to the judge to make the decision or, you know, life make the. I'm going through marketing right now. And
Hmm.
so what I do is I go out there and I don't believe in doing a hard sell. I believe in helping people make choices so that they either choose to buy or don't.
Hmm.
So it's not sales, it's called igniting a buying conversation.
Hmm.
And I want to ignite a conversation so people make choices.
Yeah.
It's like going and shopping at Costco.
Hmm.
People buy at Costco. They're not sold, they
Hmm.
buy. There's no salespeople there.
Hmm.
The stuff is on the shelf. If you want to, you look at it, you pick it up, you go, I want to buy this. Now, if you're not satisfied with it, you bring it back, and they've got one hell of a great return policy.
Yes.
Okay. But the interesting thing is their returns are not a large percentage
Hmm.
because people bought.
Yeah.
They weren't sold.
Hmm.
Okay. And now, one of the things with you have to remember is what's reasonable. And it's sort of like buying. People buy what's reasonable.
Hmm.
Okay. And you got to buy into your own. Are you reasonably going to do your best?
Yeah.
Can you think on your feet?
Yeah.
Is that reasonable for presenting to a judge?
Yes.
Are you going to reasonably do the amount of research and find the case law that supports what you're looking for?
For sure. Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. Not even, yep, that's a for sure.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
building my whole thing around the case law because that's what he
Right.
wants. He wants to see that it's been done before. They don't want
Ex
to.
exactly. And no questions.
Yeah,
And this is what makes this reasonable. That's really what it comes down to.
yeah,
And a summary argument would be this is the only reasonable conclusion,
hmm,
but I'd leave it to you to make the decision.
yeah,
You know, that's basically it.
hmm,
It's about reasonableness. Okay?
hmm, yeah.
Always.
Awesome.
So
Mhm.
that gets you effective.
Yeah,
And remember the three E's. Always remember the three E's. Effective versus ineffective, external versus internal, and evaluation versus judgment.
hmm,
Okay?
yeah. Perfect.
How are you doing now?
A lot better.
How come? What's working for you specifically?
Um, just it's that shift of I'm managing my thoughts and my emotions now. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
It's small, but it's huge all at the same time.
yeah. And it wasn't, it's not like this aha, like I've never heard this before situation. It's just I needed that light shone and that shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to hold you in an effective place,
Hmm.
not you self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
You've had 10 days where you've self-sabotaged.
Yeah.
Now I got to separate that and just stop you
Yeah.
from going into that whole thing of self-doubt that you've been practicing.
Yeah.
The more that you can get aware of that happening, the fact, like, which is step one, awareness. The step two is get perspective
Hmm.
on yourself
Yeah.
and saying, is this reasonable?
Yeah.
To then get to the three E's, which is get effective.
Yeah.
Okay. Get aware, get perspective, get effective.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I think that would be a really great conversation to have at a later time on a different podcast is um being reasonable.
Absolutely. It's a big deal.
And because some people are raised in really toxic situations where they think very differently of what normal and reasonable is.
And some people are raised with realistic, like it's realistic. What's realistic for one person
Yeah.
is not necessarily realistic for the other person
Yeah.
because realistic is subjective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. No, I think that's a great future topic for us.
Great. Good.
But I definitely appreciate you taking the time to help me through that why hole. And I hope that our viewers were able to find it applicable to themselves and be able to take what you walked me through and apply that into their own lives. So I really appreciate you taking that time.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. Continue learning by clicking one of the videos in front of you. Don't forget to subscribe and join our community for deeper dives into mind model mastery secrets. Give a like and leave a comment as we would love to engage with you more.